Quality over consistency applies not just to work, but to life itself. It's not about how fast you move, but how intensely you live.
Hi guys, welcome to the video. Let's have a quick overview of what we are going to create today. We have 4 unique scenes. Firstly, we have this falling man and then a series of people quickly changing their positions. Next, we have a simple text effect with a camera reveal. In the third scene, we have this rotating heart. We'll create this using the 3D camera. And finally, we have this bouncing guy. Let's get started with scene 1. Just get a new composition, keep it in the ratio of 9:16 and just press on OK. We'll start with a solid layer. Let's call it BG. OK. Firstly, we have to add this text quality over and also add this person. Let's do that. Going to text, I'm just going to write quality. The font that I'm going to use is color relation. Let's change the color, give it that red shade, and let's place it over here. I'm going to take a copy of this by pressing Command D. Let's drag it over here. Rename this to over. Let's add the person over here. Let's press S, scale this down. Let's change the color by adding a tint. Now in order to give it a 3D look, let's add the camera. Go to new, add the camera. Keep it 35mm, it's fine. Press on OK. Again, let's add a null layer. Coming over here, parent the camera to null. Next, ensure that you have made all the other layers 3D as well. Perfect. Now clicking on the null, press on S. Where you just play around with the scale and the position. So holding on shift, again press on P. So initially we want it to come from the top. For that, let's add keyframes over here. At this point, let's add the next keyframe. Going back, let's position it little upwards like this. Same thing with the scale. At this point, this is fine. Initially, let's go over here. Let's decrease the size like this. Perfect. Let's zoom in a bit. Select both the keyframes. Press on F9. That will give us a smooth motion. Coming over here. Let's drag it like this. Perfect, right? Now let's animate the text so that it looks as if firstly we have the word quality coming in and then the word over. Let's click on this and go to transparency. I also need to hear the audio. So we'll do one thing. We'll just quickly add our reference video to our timeline. So over comes somewhere over here. Okay. So add the opacity. Going ahead at this point, we'll reveal it. So this is 100%. Going back, make this L0. So quality. Okay, we can do the same for the word quality. So press on T. Going back at this point, just paste. Let's do one thing. Let's keep it little ahead. Now finally, if you see at the start, we have this blur happening. We can easily do that by just adding the directional blur. Right click over here, go to new and add the adjustment layer. On top of it, now just search for directional blur. Perfect. Let's go to our effects control and go to the start. Or in fact, just let's stay over here. Let's increase the blur length. Let's add keyframes. At this point, somewhere over here, I want it to completely reduce down to maybe like 5. Quality over. I think this is looking good. Now if you see over here, this scene which you created just goes away and the word consistency and this person pops in from the bottom. Let's create that. Let's select all, press U. This will give us a clean timeline. At this point, let's cut the other layers. Let's select this, the person, and let's cut it by pressing Option and the right square bracket like this. And now we'll have the word consistency coming in. Let's place it over here. Reduce the size a bit. Ensure to make it 3D as well. Let's trim it on the left. Going to null layer, press on U. Let's adjust it little earlier. From this point as well, we want to show as if this word is going to become smaller. For that, till the time it's going to stay on the screen, we'll do one thing. We'll keep on decreasing the scale like this, and also the position can be over here. Now let's quickly animate the word. This one P. At the start, it's going to come from the bottom right. Position can be over here. Coming literally 1 or 2 frames ahead. Add a keyframe. Going back, let's drag it to the bottom. I'm also going to enable motion blur on top of this. Right now it looks as if when it comes in at that point, it's becoming small immediately. Let's do one thing. Let's copy this. And then going a little ahead, let's paste it. Let's see. Okay, let's drag this over here. Okay, this looks fine. Again, when this is coming in, we want to add the directional blur. We'll add it in a minute. Before that, let's also add the person. Let's go back to the project. I already added all these PNGs over here. You will find them in the description. Let's select all and drag them to our timeline. Press on S. Let's scale them down. I'm going to hide the rest. Only keep one. Let's scale it up. Press on R. Let's rotate it. Let's trim this on left. At this position, let's press P as well. Let's place him over here. I want to flip this. So go over here, go to transform and click on flip vertical. Again, let's change the rotation a bit. I will something like this. Now all the other changes, or you can say the match cuts, are going to happen in a blink of an eye. So we are going to keep very less space over here. Press on option and close this. Okay, I'm just going to press U to close it. Let's unhide this one. Oh, we forgot to do one thing. On top of this, we want all of them to be same color. So let's select this, add a tint effect, then copy that effect, selecting all the other layers, just paste it. Perfect. Let's do one thing. Let's do the same for the person 2. I'm going to do the same for all the others. Perfect. Once we are done with 5, we need to add 5 more. So I'm just going to repeat the same. Let's have a look.
Quality over consistency of what?
Quality over consistency. The only thing pending is adding this kind of blur on top of these rotating images. To do that, it's quite simple. Select all of them. Recompose it from over here. You can name it anything that you want. I'm just going to call it as people. Make sure that we move all attributes to a new composition and press on OK. On top of this, you can just add the directional blur. Okay, let's see.
Quality over consistency applies not.
Perfect. The only thing pending is giving that blurry effect to this consistency. To do that, again, in our adjustment layer, we can play around with our blur. Coming over here, at the start, when it pops in, we want to blur it, right? So at this point, let's add a keyframe. Going a little ahead, add another keyframe. Increase the blur to an insane amount. Something like this. Okay, going a little ahead. When the word comes in, at that point, add a keyframe. Again going a little ahead. Make this as 0. That way, if I play this now,
Quality over consistency applies.
perfect. And if you want to give a blurry effect, I don't really like the way they have done it. You see, it's super blurry. You can't even see this word. If you want to give a blurry effect, you can simply add the blur on top of this text. Perfect. This looks great. Now let's move on to scene 2. So this takes care of scene 1. By the way guys, if you're still here and loving the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. The goal is to reach 10k subs in the next 2 months. For scene 2, let's get a new composition. Coming over here, just press on OK. Quickly, I'm just going to add the solid. Let's add our comp one over here as well. Let's have a look. Let's zoom in. Okay, let's cut it. From this point, we will start our second scene. Let's have a look.
Quality over consistency.
Scene 2 and scene 3 are quite simple. It's just simple camera effect. So in this, we have these hands, a flower and the text effect. Let's quickly create that. I'm just going to drag Mona Lisa over here. Press S, scale this up, selecting our rectangle tool. Ensure that the layer is selected. Let's create a mask around the hands, like this. Perfect. I'm just going to add the tint. Press on S, scale this up a bit more. Place it over here. Okay, let me see the video again. It's somewhere here, right? To give it a little blurry look, just going to add the blur on top of it. Let's increase it to around 3. Yeah, this looks fine. I'm also going to keep the floor over here. Again, add the same Gaussian blur on top of this. Now we have to add the text. Applies, not just to. Let's add the text. Applies. The font that we are going to use is called as sticks to text. This looks fine. On bottom of this, we have the other text, not just to work. Let's add that. So take a copy of this by pressing Command D. Drag this down. Now let's animate our scene 2. Firstly, similar to our scene 1, we need to add the camera effect. Make all the layers as 3D. Perfect. Bring the camera to null layer. So at the start, let's press on S. At this point, we can have the word applies. Going back, let's scale it up. But also we need to play around with the position. So let's press on P. This position is the correct one, right? Let's keyframe it. Going back at this point, let's drag it little down. Let's see this. This is happening very fast. We'll do one thing. Select all the keyframes. Press F9. Go over here. Select this keyframe and drag it all the way to the left. Okay, I feel this is happening too fast. Firstly, let's keep it simple. Let's see this. I feel in this context, even the linear one is looking great, right? Okay, now let's make changes the way we see it in the animation. That initially, this is going to come in with some transparency. So let's select these two. Press on T. Going over here. Let's add keyframes. Going a little back. Let's make this 0. Or keep it something like 22. Okay, this looks fine. Let's do the same with the word applies. Click over here. Press on T. As well as P. Because if you see initially it's coming from the bot. So at this point, this is fine. Opacity is fine. Little earlier. Let's reduce the opacity again. Also, drag it little down. So it looks as if it's coming from below. Perfect. And now let's animate the words, not just to work. Go to animate, add position. Again, add opacity. So the position looks as if it's coming from the left. Let me see. So the words come one by one over here. Correct? So for that, simply add a position, maybe let's say 50. Make the opacity as 0. Open the range selector. Over here, we just need to animate the offset. You can animate, add a keyframe over here. Going a little ahead, at this point, make this as 100%. Perfect. So right now if you see, it's coming character by character. To change it, go to advanced, over here. In based on, instead of characters, just choose words. Let's see. Maybe we can drag a little ahead. Not just to work. Perfect, right? Perfect. Let's have a look. So it's quite similar, right? There's one thing happening. Sometimes in the middle, it's getting blurred. It's quite easy to add that effect. I don't really like that effect, but if it suits your taste, you can easily add that. Let me show you how to do that. Let's select all the layers. Press U to close them. Just add the adjustment layer on the top. Okay, let's say at this point, you want to blur it. Just add Gaussian blur. Before this point, add a keyframe. Let's press U. Going a little ahead, maybe you want to blur it at this point. Increase it a lot, like this. Again going a little ahead. Make this as 0. So you see, from this point, see, it will blur and again come back. So you can keep on adding this effect. So if I copy this, I go a little earlier. If I paste it, Same thing will happen at this point. You see? This takes care of our scene 2. Now let's move on to scene 3. I like keeping it clean, so I'll create one more composition. Just drag comp 2 over here. So we can start our animation from this point. As always, I'm just going to firstly create the scene. We have the heart. Let's take a copy of this. I'm going to mask it this way. The other one, I'm going to mask the other hand. Perfect. Okay, now let's create this on the background. Let's add the text as well, but to life itself. Perfect. Let's start with our animation. As always, we'll cut all the layers before this point. Let's select all of them. Perfect. So we have this applies not just to work, and then later on, again we have to now add camera effects and create this scene. Let's add the camera again. Add the null object. Connect this to a null object. Make everything 3D as always. Just click on this. This S somewhere over here. It should be at this position. So we can add a keyframe at the start. We will start from this point and then move into this scene. Let's select both these keyframes and press F9. That will give us a smooth motion. Perfect. But we also want this heart to be rotating. In order to do that, it's quite simple. Simply place R on this. See from over here, so in the Z rotation, we can easily rotate it. So at the start, let's add a keyframe. You can rotate it like this. At somewhere at this point, let's completely rotate it. Again, we can give it a smooth motion. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's keep it over here. Let's keep this little ahead. Let's see this. Okay, if we are going at this point, then maybe we can rotate it a bit more. Something like this. Let's see. Perfect. It's looking great, right? The last scene is quite simple and very similar to how we have done our scene 2 and scene 3. See, as always, if you see over here, between scene 2 and scene 3, then we have the simple text. Added the camera effect that will zoom in like this. So initially, this person will come in from the left. Using opacity, you have to just make him disappear. And going ahead, again he will appear and again move on the right. I hope this is clear. So thank you guys for watching the tutorial. If you love this video, make sure to like it and let me know in the comments what you would like to learn in the upcoming videos.